Hi, my name is Mokonzi Mwewa Mwelwa, and as I promised you, my YouTube followers, my TikTok followers, my Facebook followers, as I promised you, I said I'll be coming live with elementary music. I mean music for the beginners. So today I've come with music for the beginners. Before I say anything, let me again introduce myself. I'm Mokonzi Mwewa Mwelwa, a music teacher by profession and a member of the United Church of Zambia, music director for the Bedside Church Choir based at Kwacha East UCZ. Without wasting much of your time, let's go into our business. I'm here for music. Music is defined as an organized sound and silence. So in the definition of music, we have three important words: sound, silence, then organized. That means for us to produce music, for us who are involved in the music ministry, we have to ensure that our music is well organized. So music is an organized sound and silence. Now, why the word silence? Silence entails that where sound is, there must be also some moments of silence. When someone is singing, that person cannot just be singing throughout, but there are some moments where someone has to take a breath, and those are points of silences. So in music, we have sound, we have silence. But I'm saying all these things must be well organized so that we achieve what we are calling as music. From the definition of music, let me introduce you now to some of the things that we use when we are making music, when we are trying to create music. I will introduce you to what we call clefs. Let me first define what a clef is. The word clef is a French word which comes from a Latin word which is clavis. Clavis is a Latin word which means key. So, what am I trying to say? The word clef means key. Now, when we look at these symbols, clefs, these are symbols which fix the pitches of the notes in music. They fix the pitches of notes in a song. In other words, we can say clefs give us where to start from. They give us the key of the music, the level at which the music should be played, because they give us the pitches of, the volumes and the levels at which each musical note in a particular composition must be played or must be sung. So let me just show you the pictures, or rather drawings, of the clefs. I said these are the common clefs that we have. We have the treble clef and the bass clef. The treble clef is also called G clef. The treble clef is also called G clef. I'll explain in my next lesson why the treble clef is called G clef. Then we have the bass clef, which is also called F clef. Now the treble clef, the word treble means high. The word treble means high, meaning where you see this symbol, we have notes of higher pitches. Notes of high pitches. Then where you see this symbol, we have notes of low pitches. So treble clef gives us notes of higher pitches. So it is a symbol which fixes notes with higher pitches, Then that one, notes with lower pitches. I said when we talk about treble clef being called a G clef, I'll give one reason today why it is called G clef. Then in my next video, I'll give another reason why it is called G clef. So this symbol, the treble clef, I'm saying it is sometimes called G clef. One reason is that it is an odd-fashioned letter D. It is an odd-fashioned letter D. Letter G. Long time ago, people used this one as letter G. So like whenever they wanted to write the word good, they would just do this. So this gave them the word good. So that's one reason why this treble clef is called G clef. It looks like letter G. At the same time, it is an old-fashioned, a well-decorated letter D. But of course, old-fashioned. It was used long time ago as letter G. Coming to the treble, to the bass staff, the bass clef. The bass clef. The bass clef is also called F clef for two reasons. Today, I'll give you one reason, then in my next video, I'll give you another reason. One reason is that this bass clef, the shape, the way the shape looks, when you just connect these two dots, you connect these two dots to this symbol here, it gives a shape of the letter F. Like when you want to write the word family, you can write it like that. So it looks like letter F when you complete it by joining these two dots to this symbol here. So that's one reason, but there is another important reason which I'll give in my next video. All right, apart from clefs, then we have what we call staff. A staff is simply a set of 5 parallel lines and 4 spaces where music is written. A staff is simply a set of 5 parallel lines and 4 spaces where music is written. So we call this as a staff. 5 lines and 4 spaces where music is written is what we call a staff. So this is another thing that you need to know before we go into reading of music. Before we go into sight reading, you need to know these are the basics that you need to know. So we have the staff, which is a set of 5 parallel lines and 4 spaces on which music is written. On this same staff, when I get the treble clef and put it there on this staff will now be called treble staff. This staff now becomes treble staff because it is now carrying the treble sign, the treble clef. It is now carrying the treble clef. Therefore, this staff is now called treble staff. On the same staff, if I get the bass clef, and put it there, I get the bass clef and put it there, this staff is now going to be called the bass staff. This is now going to be called the bass staff because now it is carrying the bass clef. So it is going to be called bass staff. Immediately we put the treble clef on the staff. These lines will now have names. These lines and spaces will now have names. Immediately we put the treble clef on the staff. These lines and spaces will now have names. The first line on the treble staff is E. The first line on the treble staff is E. The first line on the treble staff is E. And today, my viewers, I'll just look at the names of lines and spaces on the treble staff. Then in my next video, I'll tackle the other one, which is the lines and spaces on the bass staff. So the first line on the treble staff is E. Now, in music, you need to understand that both lines and spaces are important. Both lines and spaces are important. And we need to count both of them. Line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space. We need to consider both of them. So the first line on the treble staff is E. You have to master this. You have to know these lines, names of lines and spaces. If you cannot know lines, names of lines and spaces, then it will be very difficult for you to read music. So you just need to learn and know these things. So the first line is E. Mind you, in music we count lines and spaces from the bottom. So this is line number 1, this is line number 2, this is line number 3, this is line number 4, this is line number 5. All right, so we count lines like that. Also spaces. This is space number 1, this is space number 2, space number 3, space number 4. So we have 5 lines and 4 spaces. 5 lines and 4 spaces. 5 lines and 4 spaces. Let's get back to the names of lines and spaces on the treble stuff. I've said the first line is E. Then this first line E is followed by the space. There is this space here. So it's the same as saying what follows the E, or what follows after E. We have letter F, meaning this space is going to be F, since what follows after letter E is F. What follows after letter E is F. So this space is going to be F. Then after this space F, we have the line here, which is going to be G, which is going to be G. So E, F, then G. By the way, in music, the alphabet only ends on letter G. We only have the first 7 letters of the English alphabet. That's A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So only these 7 letters are used in music. The musical alphabet is only made up of 7 letters, A up to G. Now what happens when we reach G? When we reach G, we have to start all over again from A. So we say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, just like that. We keep on going just like that. So it's A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, F, G, A, B, C, D, F, G. So we are here on line G. From line G, we have the space. So in music, after G, I've said after G, we need to start from A. So since this is line G, then this space will be A. This space will be A. This line G, then the space that follows after G should be A. So after A space, we have this line here. We have this line here. So after A, we have the line there. So what comes after A is letter B. So this line is B. Then after the line B, we have this space here, this space here. After B, what comes after B is C. Then after C, what comes after C is D. So this line is D. What comes after D is E. So this space is E. Now, look at what I'm doing here. I'm separating lines from spaces. I'm separating lines from spaces. So this space is E because it is after this line D, then E. Then this line is going to be F. This line is going to be F. So we have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. So these are the lines and spaces that we have on the treble stuff. Now, to help you remember, to help you memorize, for the lines, we have E, and then we say every, then we have G, so we are going to say every good. Then we have B, we say every good boy. Then we have D, we say does, every good boy does. Then we have line F, so we say does fine. So to master the names of lines only, on the treble stuff, we say every good boy does fine. Every good boy does fine. These are the names of lines on the treble staff. Then the spaces. How do you master the spaces on the treble staff? So on the treble staff, the spaces have already given us a word. We have space number 1, which is F, space number 2, which is A, space number 3, which is C, space number 4, which is E, and then the spaces have given us the word face. So in the spaces, we have the word face. F-A-C-E, we have the word face. So for the spaces, we have the word face. For the spaces, we have the word face. I hope this information that I've given today is going to be helpful to you. Next time, we'll continue from where we've ended. I've ended on the names of lines and spaces on the treble staff. Next time, we shall continue on the names of lines and spaces on the bass staff. From me, Mokonzi, I'm signing off. Goodbye.